Welcome, Localizers. Today I'm reacting to anime, manga, Localizers with new AI translator from Monte Sensei. Monte Sensei, as always, has really some good points. And it's from a acolyte of mine called Agent of Social Media Chaos. Now, let's see what Monte Sensei has to say about it, and you will hear what I. No, I mean, Localizers, it's an easy job per se, so I just have actually no quarrel with them being replaced by a translator. The only thing that actually you could argue is really hard to take is that you don't just translate the word that somebody used, but also the sense of it. Because it could be that you say, hey, if you break your leg, you're not working properly. In English, this just means what it said, but in Polish, this could be have a different meaning of, yeah, if you work too hard, then you're gonna die quick or something like that. So there's that, but let's just see what the
Localizations, the localizers have really shot themselves in the foot.
Uh-huh.
And now that their job is being threatened by AI more and more, which I'll get into with this article, I have the good riddance mentality.
Bye-bye.
No mercy, no sympathy, you get what you deserve. And I know that may come off cold, but this is after nearly a decade or more of infiltration from egotistic maniacs put in charge of so many properties across entertainment, not even mishandling, but intentionally seeking to destroy them from inside out.
Correctly.
And when fandoms of all types voice valid concerns and criticisms, they're met with, oh well, deal with it.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
To the criticism, like, I have a vagina, deal with it.
While being called the worst type of names that can destroy livelihoods. So me being cold really is just karma at this point.
Karma is a bitch!
And the thing...
Nah, I'm gonna be honest, acolytes, I don't believe in karma. I believe in actually trying to make your own justice or producing the results yourself, so...
Thing is, I know it's not every localizer or translator, but the refusal to speak out when someone in your field is purposefully doing a horrendous job and you just play ostrich head in the sand rather than calling them out specifically like, yo, you're making all of us look bad. Do your damn job. Leave your politics at home and stop butchering what people love to consume. Then when the threat of AI surfaces, at least you would get some people coming to your defense because it shows solidarity with the fans that you actually care people receive the best product they can. So think of it this way. It's like me ordering an entree at a restaurant and getting food sick because it was intentionally poisoned, and nobody in the food department holds anyone accountable due to misplaced loyalty with corruption rather than the people. Now I'm like a character in Apothecary Diaries, second guessing each time I receive a meal. Did I receive something that's pure, untainted, or tampered with? That's a reasonable response. Then when the food department gets replaced by machinery, there's no feelings lost on the consumer's end. Now with the food comparison, it is life or death, but I hope you get the point that I'm making. For instance, in the late...
I mean, it's a bit of an extreme point, but nonetheless, I think he actually explains this fairly well. It is exactly how it is. If you just get punished for doing something, you will think twice before you do it. So
this episode of My Happy Marriage, as of recording this, Takehito is referred to as a she during a ladies' night. And it had me like somewhat confused, like, wait, isn't it a dude, the emperor or the successor to the throne? Is this the right character who I think it is? Did I miss some dialogue or an episode where this was clarified? I'm puzzled at this point. Because then when he talks to Mio later, you hear his deep voice and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a dude. And later in the episode, Kudo refers to him as a man, so now I'm even more confused. Like, what's going on here? Like, I must have missed something. And then I thought, I hope this is not a mistranslation or error, or worse yet, a bad faith attempt, because Takehito's presence is quite feminine, like a femboy. But with some research, I learned it's expressed more clearly in the light novel that he asked the ladies to refer to him as such, being a joke and to make Mio feel more comfortable. So I thought, okay, that makes sense. Good to know. But it's a natural reaction when you witness so many examples of this occurring. Now, to this article. It's so useless.
And by the way, this was actually a good way of presenting it. So there's that. But this is an exception. The rule is that it's just thrown in like a freaking, I don't know, troll in a garden full of beautiful flowers, and then everybody is surprised that the troll actually destroys every single flower that is there. So
AI is plaguing the manga industry in the worst way, but can it be stopped? Now, plaguing isn't the right word in my opinion. A more accurate description is taken over, you could say. But to the localizers themselves, maybe. But it's like any other industry that faces technological advancement, because to the overall industry, and I'm just looking at this through a pragmatic lens, it's going to cut costs, be more efficient, root out piracy, benefiting the studios directly, because they can get out the product quicker to different language speaking audiences, beating out pirated content. And while it'll be some time before AI becomes fully sophisticated, though at the rate it's progressing it may be sooner than later, fans are willing to put up with mistaken, inaccurate translations than intentional self-insert "here's my politics" mistranslations.
yeah, and by the way, just because it's AI doesn't mean that it will be perfect. There will be some mistranslations, there will be some mistakes in it, even if it's AI. That's just inevitable.
Because one is by mistake while the other is intentional and nefarious. Translation is a time-consuming and often tedious process because it goes so much deeper than simply interchanging a word in one language with the same word in another. And I can see that. Sometimes proper context for a joke, let's say, is preferred depending on your region or culture, and I do get that.
Exactly.
The deeply personal, complex process of translating a manga series into English is not something AI can replicate now or maybe even ever. Okay, now that's incorrect. You're in a state of denial if you think that's true. I already see things online where I can barely tell the difference anymore. When it comes to visuals, like, is that a real person? Wait, did this celebrity really do that or say that? It's only a matter of time when it comes to speech or communication or written dialogue. You can already mimic famous voices to have them say what you want to. If anything, subtitles are the easiest thing to do already. When working on a manga, these translators must take into account puns, jokes, the speech patterns of each character, and the personality of the characters whose dialogue they are translating. And this short list only scratches the surface of the different elements that must be considered during the translation process. Now, ChatGPT
He explained it way better than I did. Thank you.
can already do this to a huge degree. You can literally tell the AI to write a paragraph of how this famous person would articulate themselves on this particular topic. It can already do that. I've seen it done. So getting the personality down of a character is not too far-fetched. It's coming. One Japanese publisher, Shogakukan, released an app titled Novelist, which uses AI to translate the manga and light novels available on the app. Some readers have already voiced their displeasure, explaining that the AI translations on the app failed to capture the charm of the original Japanese versions. And I can definitely see that being a complaint. Novelist is just another piece of proof that AI is not equipped to handle the important task of translating manga. And that's where I disagree. They refer to AI like it's a stagnant entity that's never progressing. What they should say is, so far it's not equipped. But like I said earlier, it will become sophisticated to where you can't tell the difference. It's inevitable. Translators like Evelyn, Paul, and Lo have spent years honing their craft.
What a little crybaby. You know, everyone has problems. It doesn't mean you have to be a little crybaby about it.
That doesn't mean anything. Many people of many professions have spent years honing their craft, but due to inevitable technological advancements, these occupations change overnight. This is not excluded to your field of localizers. Like the field of graphic design and writing or proofreading, those fields literally became exempt overnight due to AI. It can spit out in seconds what it takes a human weeks to do. It's just the harsh reality of things, and I had people in my family who experienced this. Have you seen these Panavision's trailers of what franchises would look like in a 1950s film?
Shinji Ikari, a lonely teenager, the enigmatic girl with a mysterious connection to the Evangelions, the fiery prodigy determined to prove herself, the true nature of the Evangelions.
If it can do that for
damn, that's already far ahead. Fair enough. But I'm gonna be honest, Acolytes, I just see it as an unstoppable force. AI will overcome and come to a point where a lot of people will lose their jobs. And this is something that actually quite surprised me personally, because I actually thought that the first jobs that will go en masse will be like jobs in a fabric that do just one motion But hey, it is what it is. And for everyone who actually cries about it, yeah, bad for you, but it's just inevitable. Learn something different, and you should start quick. Even though I feel for you, but it just will come.
Visuals and imagery, it's only a matter of time before it comes to dialogue, which it already is. Like, I would take this as a wake-up call to prepare for the future. It's coming. Sadly, these translators have received harassment from some readers.
Gonna cry?
Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet. Oh, the tears of
The
unfathomable
man is on a
sadness.
distraction path today. I
Yummy.
like
Their
it.
careful efforts to bring the story to life in a different language should not go unrecognized and deserve appreciation. Yeah, whatever. And what they view as harassment is really just criticism. It's like they'll never learn. They continue to double down on their bullshit. No humbling themselves, no apologizing, just more name calling, and that's why I have the mentality of good riddance. Manga letterers, translators, and authors themselves are right to speak up, you know? Where were you guys when these localizers were intentionally butchering content? Y'all were silent, and this is how I know you guys are in an elitist bubble, basking in the glory when everything was working in your favor, but now you want sympathy when it's not, so fuck off with all that. I don't want to hear it, because of this disturbing trend.
They had literally no sympathy when people literally died, lost their jobs, lost their families, lost everything. And now they demand sympathy? No, F them. Just F them hard. And I know there are some good people that actually got harmed by it, but yeah, sadly, no. Guess what? Same thing here. A lot of good people got shafted just because of this, just because of some elitist pricks that don't actually want to work. And by the way, I don't see translation as a actual work. I don't see it. It's something you can make money with, but it's not hard. It just takes a bit of time and a bit of focus, and then you're done. And yeah, I am harsh, but even the job that I am doing right now, I don't really see as work. I'm gonna be honest, I see it as... I feel like someone, like a parasite that actually just sucks the money out of a gigantic company and just does basically nothing for it. It is what it is. I'm still gonna do it though, because it's easy money. But that something like this even exists, it's bad. It's bad. It's really
Disturbing,
bad.
really. Of AI translated manga continues, the industry risks losing the human touch that makes these manga series so enjoyable to read. You know, whatever, man. This meme sums it up. From iRobot, and Will Smith is asking the robot, can a machine understand nuance and context and culture well enough to not butcher it? And the robot responds, can localizers? And Will Smith gives the, that's a good point expression. And that sums it up perfectly. So spare me your pleading for sympathy and support on this matter. I'm good.
This is where you fall down.
But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Am I being too cold on this subject, or?
Nah, you're just fine. You're just fine. It's just at some point, as I said, destruction is inevitable. It is what it is. Just shaft it. But, as it is, acolytes, good night.